Hello. Today on Publicity Decoded, I am going to tell you how to make a media list without paying for a massive database. So if you have been in PR, or if you are someone who's getting into PR, specifically earned media, you may have your pitch, you may have your hero arc, which I've talked about in a previous video, you may have your exact story angles, and you know generally the types of outlets or media targets that you want to send your pitch to. And then you have all those pieces together, and then you realize, who the heck do I send this to? Like, I need an email, I need a phone number, I need a text, like I need some way to get in touch with these journalists or editors or producers who are going to decide if they want to cover my story or not. And the solution for that the paid solution for that are these big, very large media databases who exist at various tiers, and some who've been around longer than others, and they offer more than just contacts. They do offer metrics tracking and all previous news articles of the journalists that you're looking for that they've ever written. But as you're getting started out, you don't really need to know all of those. You don't need to know all the details. You really don't need the metrics on outlets. Like, your goal is just to get covered. Your goal is just to secure press coverage for you as soon as possible. So there is a free way to do this, and I know because I have worked at times where I was working scrappily for people, and we, in whatever organization I was with, this was probably across a couple organizations early on in my career before like other things have come available, but I'm like the master of sourcing media contacts for free, and I'm going to tell you how I do it. So before all these mega databases existed, there was this thing called the internet and just the standalone internet. Now, this was also before a time where people started trying to hide their contact information, although personally, and I'm going to take a hot take, I have journalist friends who would probably agree with me on this. If you are a journalist or a reporter or a producer and you are hiding your contact information, especially if your audience is like, or the people that make up your reporting and your shows and all your segments are the local people, you're doing it wrong. Because you should, like, your job is to be reachable. People should be able to reach you and pitch you stories, especially local and state media. 1,000%. Local and state media, those contacts should not be purposely gatekept, in my humble opinion. So, when I was searching on the internet for contacts, which I've had to do time and time again throughout my years, where am I going with this? I'm telling you how to get media contacts for free. Really just Google them, essentially. And that seems like a straightforward answer, right? But you can't just Google contact, like press contact for Wall Street Journal, let's say. There is no, maybe I'm going to be so wrong, but they're generally on any like online paper. The only thing where you'll really see a staff page with contacts is local TV. That's generally the only instance you're going to see a staff directory with emails all listed in one place. Typically, there will be no staff page. There might be a contact page with general contacts, but you're not going to find contacts or contact information for specific reporters. So where you will find that is in the bylines. If you don't know what a byline is, that is when you go to an article and you see written by John Smith you're gonna click on John Smith. Hopefully it's hyperlinked. If it's not, you might be SOL. But if you click on that name, it's gonna take you to a new page if it's hyperlinked. Typically, that is gonna be the bio of the reporter who wrote that page, who wrote that article. It's gonna take you to their bio. So it should show you like previous articles that they've written, what their normal beat is, which means the topics that they're covering. Are they an energy reporter? Are they a business and economics reporter? Are they healthcare? Are they lifestyle? It will give you that bio. And then, if you're lucky, it should give you contact information. Now, I don't know if, I would love to know if this is a by journalist choice on what to list, because some reporters will just have their X handle. So frustrating to me. Again, if you're a reporter and you're putting your, I guess it depends on what beat you're on. Again, I've never been on the journalist side, so all I can do is rely on my journalist friends to tell me what the standards are and like the brain behind this. But I've never asked anyone what the thought process is behind putting like a social media handle versus your work email, right? Because it's your work email. I don't know. Maybe I'm being naive and I don't know enough of that side. But if you're lucky, you'll get an email address from that byline hyperlink to the author's profile. Again, that is not going to be a page that you can just search reporter contacts. Like, you're gonna have to know the name. So the best way to structure your search, like you're starting from scratch, you're an author who wrote a book on climate change. So you're gonna go to Google and you're gonna go over to the news tab, okay? And you are going to put into your search, if you want to do a, like the quoted search, I'm sure there's a scientific name for it. I do that if I have like a company name that I really want to get, but if you're doing something like climate change, it's generic enough that you could just do climate change and go through all the results that you get. But if it was a certain company, like company ABC climate changers, then you would put that label in quotes in your Google search and it will only pull up that topic. Again, I have to I'll write what the scientific name for doing that search is, or the actual name of doing that search is in the comments. So when you go into Google, you click news, you type in climate change, you're going to get populated a ton of articles. I would structure it for the last week, maybe the last month. You decide how recent people have written about something that you want to reach out to them. I think relatively the most recent, the best. I really wouldn't go any more than like 6 months, because beats change all the time. Reporters cycle in and out all the time. So the reason for that is you want to make sure, one, that they're still writing about whatever they wrote about that you want to pitch a story about. And two, you want to make sure the reporter is still with that outlet, because even if they have a profile page on wherever it is, there are archived profile pages of reporters who used to work for an outlet, but then they have since left, because those articles live there forever, right? They live on the internet forever, which is the bonus of earned media. So you're going to click on the filter. There's a filter tab that you can do the time frame. So I would do like a month to start. And if you're really not getting any results, then maybe increase it from there. You can always do a custom range in Google News search. So figure out what's best for you, but I would start with the lowest window of time that you can, and then increase it from there if you need more hits, if you're not seeing enough results. Then what you're going to do is click into each of those articles, and you're going to go through that process of clicking the byline, checking their bio, do they have contact information? Great. Next step is to, oh my gosh, I just glitched. So next step is to then have somewhere to put that contact information, right? So you want an Excel sheet up or some sort of tracking document. However you want to track it. I think Excel sheets are the best. You can sort them as you need to. It can just be a running list. You can add their beat and descriptions and what outlet they're in and their phone number and their email and where they're based. I mean, you can fill it to your heart's content. So I would pull up an Excel sheet and have that up along with the search that I'm searching. And every time I find a contact, I'm going to grab their name, grab their outlet, grab their contact information. I might do a link column in the Excel sheet where I'm adding the link of the story that I'm like, I like this one. I think they'd be able to cover it. Like whatever article I'm seeing, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Because in your pitch then, you can tell them, hey, I recently read your article on da-da-da. Awesome piece. I love your angle. I love how you covered this, blah, blah, blah. Whatever you genuinely think about that article, tell them. And then you have an immediate, like, I'm reading your stuff. I'm reading your story and I love what you're doing. I think this story that I'm pitching would be a great fit for what you're covering. So you see how it's all tied together. And this is a really important point that I should have led with in the very beginning of this video, which is earned media is all about relationships. And if you cannot build and maintain relationships, you are going to fail at earned media. And this is where a lot of PR agencies specifically get it wrong and where we can do it right as the individual, as the small business. And that is building relationships with your media contacts. And this is the difference, right? Like what I just told you about getting the article, reading through it, what do you like, taking notes, make sure that you have all those details so you can communicate that to them. That is all relationship building. It's showing value in their work. It's showing time spent really going through what they're looking at, right? Many agencies will put together one pitch. They will go into these mega databases and pull together a list of all possible reporters that cover this particular topic, and they will mass send a single pitch to 50 plus reporters. It could be more. It could be way, way more. 500 who cover this topic. And that is not personal. That is not relationship building. That is spam, in my opinion. And what I am building, which I'll tell you about in a second, is so relationship based. And it's something that I believe we've lost, especially in the PR industry, where, I mean, I was on Capitol Hill. I used to be talking to reporters and other comms people all day, every day. And it is still like that in some environments. But outside of those big media hub bubbles, like in rural America where I live, you don't have the luxury of getting that face-to-face time. And it only makes building those relationships and being intentional about building those relationships so much more important. So that's my little soapbox on that. But going back to your Excel sheet. So that is really the way that you build your media list for free. You scour the internet, you have your Excel sheet done. And then you're kind of educating yourself as you go. It's a great entryway to start, right? Because you're learning what a byline is. You're learning how people are formatting their articles. You're learning what they're including in their articles. Are they even including any quotes? Who are they interviewing? Are they including video elements, which some outlets do? So being able to comb through that and taking time, if you have it, to do that in the beginning yourself, especially if you're going to prioritize earned media down the road, it's very, very, very beneficial to developing your skill set in earned media and public relations. So that, I think, is where I'll end this video. I hope that this was helpful. I would love to know if you learned anything new or if some of this is just like, duh. But I think it's, I wish more people knew this. And I have seen people, you know, with great stories, not sure who to tell them to. And this is how you find the people to tell your story to. So I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.